Cool. How are you doing?
Very good, thank you. Yes, yes. Like I was saying earlier, I'm busier than I've ever been. To be perfectly honest, my
Yeah.
social media content has been very useful for me because I've got such an archive of material, Hyman, which I've been filming for the last 40 years. When I've even got film of my cycling around the world in 1985.
Whoa.
So it's the kind of thing, when if you were to kind of do what I do, and that's perfectly possible, and I think anybody is able to do it,
Hmm.
but to get to where I've got to, it has taken me 40 years. So, just bear that in mind.
Yeah, well, that's quite impressive, Nick. Thank you for being here with us today. I'm super excited to go all over the questions that we have for you. Um, yeah, I guess I'm quite a filmmaker too, and definitely I'm spending some time these days at home going all over the stuff that I filmed like over the past years. I think it's a great time to do so, because you never have time to go over all the things you actually film. So at
I know
least for that
exactly.
purpose, it's great that we have some spare time. Cool. So yeah, for the ones that just joined, we're here with Nick Sanders. He's a famous world rider who also holds some Guinness World Records for riding all around the world. He has come across quite some adventurous journeys, and I guess we're really happy to share some of that with us today. So let's start over the question list, right? First, as a little bit of an introduction, let's tell us how and when did you start riding?
Well, Hyman, I started being a racing cyclist on the
Mhm.
in France and Paris when I was 18 years of age. And that's going to be obviously a long time ago, 40, 58, 43 years ago. So I've never had a job. Yeah, yeah. I've always been a professional sports person and I wanted to ride the Tour de France and all that sort of thing. Maybe I wasn't quite good enough. But very soon, within 3 years, I realized that I wanted to go and bicycle around the world. Look, I was a 23-year-old young man. I was fit and I suddenly had this epiphany, this
Mhm.
urge to bicycle around the world. And so I set off with about €3 or €4 a day as my budget, and I slept out in my tent every single night for the 7 months. And suddenly, I kind of did 160 kilometers a day as an average, and I came back and I got the Guinness record for being the fastest cyclist to cycle around the world. And it all started from there.
Whoa, so I guess yeah, it's definitely that you start with a bike instead of a motorbike, right?
Mm.
Nice.
Well,
And how did you get into the motorcycling world then?
well, I cycled around the world twice. I cycled around the world a second time in 79 days. I cycled the length of the Americas. I cycled across the Sahara Desert. Um, and I cycled across, I've forgotten to be honest, there's other places I've been to. But because I've been traveling so much, after a while, after 12 years, I'd ridden everywhere that you can possibly go on a bicycle. It really was extremely extreme. Um, and I decided, right, to do it again on a motorbike. Everybody loves a motorbike, and I thought, right, well, I'll go and motorbike around the world, and I did, that in 1992 on an Enfield, which is an old-fashioned bike, and a 500cc Enfield Bullet, and I set off again, not really with any PR reason, not really to make money, just to find out what I needed to do in order to begin to do it really well. So, and once I came back, then I started to become more professional at it.
Oh, Nick, yeah, definitely an impressive story. And I think it's awesome to be able to actually do that, instead of like living an let's say an unusual life, going to work every day from 9 to 5 and this type of stuff, that most of us actually do. So congrats for that, because I guess you have a bunch of like amazing stories to tell.
Well, the thing is, Hyman, yes, I've never had a job and I've always lived in this kind of freelance capacity. I think it's probably taken me this long to realize what an unusual career I've had. To me, it feels very normal. You know, I go
Mhm.
around the world. I ride my motorbike. I ride my bicycle. It's a job. It's a lovely job. It's special in some ways, and in other ways, it's not. There are a lot of people doing amazing things in the world, as you know, and we're just one of them. But having said that, I think it's harder and harder for people to kind of replicate and
Mhm.
copy what I've done. It's not easy.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, well, definitely inspiring. So I would like to go deeper a little bit on the sideways of this way of living. What do you not like about what you do?
Um, being away from my family has been difficult. You know,
Mhm.
I can't deny that if it was easy in every which way, physically, emotionally, financially, Hyman, if it was that easy, really, there'd be a lot more of me
Yeah.
doing it. So obviously it's a lot harder than people sort of realize. You go away from your family. And I had three children in my early years, and I had a wife, and I was away sometimes 6 months a year during the very difficult early years of being a new father and a new husband and all that sort of thing. And it took its toll. I mean, we're all good
Mhm.
friends now and so forth, but it was very, very difficult for my first wife to do things alone. And I think that's the problem with most motorcyclists or travelers. When they leave home, they're leaving their loved ones behind, and that's very, very hard. And that can cause complications later, I suppose. But at the same time, I don't regret anything. I'm in the, as I say, proverbially shit hams, and you just got to man up and take it on the nose. And we do.
Good. Nice. Well, yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's not, not everyone sees this passion we have for motorcycling in the same way.
I think we're destined to do these things, Hyman. I think people like me, we are destined to do these different things, and you can't always put your finger on it and say why. You just are doing it.
Hmm.
And yeah, you don't always have the answers. That's the point. Maybe somebody else out there has the answer for me.
Great. Cool. Yeah. Okay. So another question: how do you prepare the riding season? Well, actually, do you even have a riding season?
Well, as a riding system, I have a bike, and obviously I've been riding Yamahas for a long time. My bike is always it's usually the first bike, a new bike. So obviously, because I'm promoting a new model, and in this instance, it's their new Tenere 700. It's an on and off road bike. So, but the point being is, I don't have to do any mechanics. In a new bike, it's not going to break down even after several years. It's not going to break down. The particular manufacturer I'm with is
Uh-huh.
known for engineering capability. I choose a sponsor, or I choose a vehicle, if you like, that is engineered to a very good degree. I don't want to have problems. Not really. I want to be medically boring, if you understand. I want my trip to go
Yeah.
along easily. There's enough problems to have to deal with without your bike breaking down. So that's the first thing. Make sure your equipment is absolutely well prepared, even if it's not a
Mhm.
new bike. Prepare it well. It's all in the prep, all in the detail. Um, and I basically look at what I'm going to carry, Iman, and the rule of thumb is to divide it in half and then divide it in half again. People pack for comfort. They pack because they want to take their belongings with them and their feelings of familiarity from home. You know, I dispense with all of that. I don't want any reminders of home, and I take only what I need. One
Mhm.
pair of socks, one pair of underpants, a camera, a tripod, a toothbrush, credit card, passport. That's something.
Yeah,
Really.
this is like a very, very good tip, Nick. Definitely, yeah. I totally agree with you that we usually like try to take with us a lot of stuff from home that we actually don't need, and that's a lot of weight that you are gonna carry on a motorbike.
And another thing as well, Hammond, you're in your hotel room and you're repacking your bike
Mhm.
morning. It can take half an hour or an hour. And you unpack. in the evening, and it can take the same. You're using up 90 minutes a day.
Yeah.
Well, what's that times 7 days? It's a lot of time. It's 7, 8, 9 hours. That's a whole day's riding, just unpacking and packing your bike.
Yeah, that's
So,
so true. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Great.
oh, we've got a
Thank you
message
for
here.
that
How
tip, Nick.
GPS?
Yeah, we have quite a few. We can go over them later if you want, or we could just, if you see something that you might want to answer, just go do it.
Yeah, sure. Your GPS from this is a guy from Sardeo. Yes, well, young man. Oh, you're sweet. Yeah, how do you do a GPS? Well, to be honest, I have actually, and this is absolutely real. But I've only ever used a TomTom. I was very much against GPS satellite navigation systems for a long time. Very old-fashioned. Love maps. That sort of thing. If you compare the two, look, if you're on the London Underground, obviously in London, you've got a particular map called a schematic map, which kind of takes you to where you're going to go visually in the most efficient way possible. It straightens out all the curves, but you don't really know where you're going. Now, that's how I see a satellite navigation system, extremely efficient, and that's what it's built for, to get you there. But when you look on a map, it's like being on a double-decker bus as you cross London and you're looking out through the window, you can see all the sights and hear the sounds, and you have a much better 3D impression of
Uh-huh.
getting to where you get to. Okay? So that's how I compare the map with the GPS satellite system. So you need both, really, to get an overall impression of where you are and how you're going to get there. But I'll tell you something, Hyman. I travel across Russia on one of my journeys here. This is the book here. What's it called? Russia, Mongolia,
Mm-hmm.
Motorcycle Meet.
Yeah, I know about it.
Great. Well,
Yeah.
I had a sat nav. Everything's in the Cyrillic language, in Russian language. You can't read it. You can't understand it. Nothing. Nobody speaks English. You're out there trying to find a hotel in a city. You can't find it. You type it into your TomTom, for example, or your GPS system, and it takes you there. And what it does, it gives you that whole feeling of being able to relax into a ride. I don't have to worry about how I'm going to get to where I get to at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day. The machine's done it for me. You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I
And
guess, yeah.
I
I
love it.
understand the feeling of peace of mind that it can give you.
Absolutely, yeah. It's as important to me as my camera. There you go.
Mhm. Cool. Yeah. Well, good to know. Yeah, I guess the type of journeys that you usually do are quite, complex, and you have to take as many, let's say, tools as you need, right? So I guess a combination of physical maps and GPS navigation devices and so on might be the
Absolutely.
best way to
Yeah,
do it. Cool.
we have these tools and these robots, Hyman. Let's make the most of them.
Cool. Great. Okay, more questions for you. Yeah, do you think the bike you have now, the Tenere 700, is it the best bike you ever had, like for your trips, or do you have favorite bike ever? Is it
Well,
the Royal Enfield that you rode back in the times to go all around the world?
Hyman, it's like this. It's like when people say, "What's the best place you've ever been to?" The
Hmm.
best place you've ever been to probably is the last place you've been to, or a place you can remember, or the place you've been to with a with a partner, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, child. Um, or it's a place where someone has been friendly to you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
And it's the
definitely.
same thing with a motorbike. When I rode around the world on an R1, I've ridden around the world on an R1, which is a very fast sports bike, as you know, 0
Mhm.
to 60 in 3 seconds, 171 brake horsepower. And the particular bike I had was 171 kilos. It was the first time any motorcycle's weight had equaled with its horsepower. So it's very fast and very light. And I loved that when I went around the world in 19 days in 2005. So, yes, I love the R1. Horses for courses, as we say. But
Mhm.
right now, but right now, with the Tenere 700, what it genuinely, and all the reviewers have said this, you know, they know more about it than me, is that you can go on twice the kind of road. You go on road, off road, with the same kind of robustness. It's
Mhm.
sufficiently good to do both kinds of service. And in that sense, it gives me quite pleasure, or twice the scope. You know,
Uh-huh.
I guess really from a realistically, yeah, it's the latest bike I'm on. It really is a very good bike. I would say it is my favorite bike right now. Yeah, yeah. Mm.
Cool, great. Yeah, I totally agree that it's a fantastic bike. I'm not
Yeah.
really into adventurous riding yet because I just started my journey into motorcycling, but well, I will definitely go into it soon.
Good, good. Well, you'll be fine. Yeah, great. What bike have you got?
Well, I'm actually in the process of buying one. It's
Oh,
a Yamaha. It's an old bike. It's an XS 400 from
oh yes.
1980.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, and it's customized in calf racer style.
Oh, I like
What
cafe
I'm talking
racing.
about it's
Oh,
beautiful. It's super fun to ride.
super cool.
No,
Great. Yeah, wow, good.
cool,
If you want to go around the world, I'll give you a few tips.
great. Go forward.
Oh, sorry, what? A few tips for going around the world? Well,
Yeah.
the first tip that you know, as
Hmm.
anybody knows, the first tip you need to know is, do it. You know, the
Hmm.
problem is, don't overcomplicate things. People
Yeah.
want to do this, and
Don't
by the
think
time
about
they've
it.
got to the front door, they've persuaded themselves it's too complicated. They've got girlfriends and boyfriends and houses and bills and company and making
Hmm.
money and all of that. Well, you have to get rid of all of that for a start, you know. And it depends how long you want to go away. Or take your partner with you, for goodness sake. But don't complicate it. It's a lot easier than you think. You see, being an ambassador, whatever that means, it's a new word for being sponsored. But being an ambassador for someone like Yamaha or a number of other companies that I'm with, my job really is to actually say, you can do it too. And say that meaningfully. You can do it too. You really can. What I do, I've made it look easy.
Uh-huh.
And it doesn't mean to say that it is easy, but if you follow a few simple rules, you
Hmm.
could make it a lot simpler than you think it could be. It is not complicated. You take your bike to a motorcycle shipper, you put it in a container, they do that for you. You ship it across to another place in the world and you take it out, and then you go for a ride on a road. You know, you can get your insurances sorted out, your bike's fine, you've got all your equipment, spare tires, you've done some research on the internet. Everything you need to know about anything is now available. It's called the
Yeah,
internet.
on the internet, I guess.
And you've got
Yeah,
booking.com.
it sounds a little bit
Booking.
simpler than I guess it would be, but well, I actually have a couple of questions related to what you just said. The first one is how do you make the traveling pay? I mean, is it expensive?
Yeah, it is. Having said that, look, I think the journey which I've just done, London, Sydney, um, and the total trip around the world, and I'm living fairly inexpensively. I stay in a camp quite a lot, but that's also a false economy because if you're
Uh-huh.
camping and the sun's going down at 7 o'clock, it's difficult to work. My
Yeah.
job is to work. I have to find a small hotel, which might cost $9, $10, $15. So it's not expensive.
Hmm.
And I can work through the night or until midnight, whatever, get my jobs done. But it still will cost about $50,000. It's a lot of money.
Hmm.
So I've been getting sponsorship and money from companies and so forth for many, many years, you know, and I approach a company which I believe in. I don't go with sponsors like soap powder or detergents. That's of no relevance to me whatsoever. I look for the industry that needs supporting and they can support me. For example, I went to find a Swedish company and it's called MIT, and I'll give a little plug. It's a
Hmm.
multi directional impact protection system. It's a little sleeve that goes into your helmet. That's all it is. But what it
Uh-huh.
does, if you have an accident, and this is what I'm saying about sponsors that are useful to me. If I have an accident, it absorbs a certain amount of the energy, about 15% of the rotational energy, if I hit the ground like that. And therefore, that stops me getting concussion to the value of about 15% or more. So,
Well,
you know, it's a safety feature built within the helmet. You know, and that's one example of getting a bit of money from them, thank you, but also having a product which will be very useful to me. Another simple little product, I'll do this, and it's this here. This is called a lock. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Got it. Why would
Nice.
you need one of those? Well, I'll tell you why. Yeah, that's it. Because if you get your bike stolen, that's it. End of journey, early bath. You need something to protect your bike because you're going to be out there. You might need to tie it to a tree or a lamppost outside in the street or whatever. They're not always going to be secure garage accommodation for your motorbike. So you need secure protection for the bike. And they support me as well. Um, here, look, you're going to record your project. Look at this. What's that? It's a camera tripod. Great.
Mm-hmm.
You need one. You know, you want to record your journey. You're a star turn in your own road movie. You want to show all your family and friends when you get back the remarkable journey you've just done. Things like that, you know. And that, you know, you need a camera, a good quality camera, to be able to vlog. Yeah, that's about. I've got great tires, you know, Continental tires and so forth, whatever. But that's how I do it. They all give me amounts of money, and I have to work particularly hard to promote them in a congenial way.
Mm-hmm. Great. Well, it's good to see how you try to be prepared, like taking the most like interesting features for riding with these companies. I think it's great, like how you get to prepare for these trips, and we can all learn a bit from it. Um, yeah, another question related to these: many people would like to do what you do. What do you think that stops them from doing? You know, is it just apart from the money that you mentioned and this budget that you get from sponsors? Is there other things that you need to figure out?
Right.
Uh,
Well, the biggest thing for people really is their own sense of self confidence.
mhm.
You know, a lot of people, and I know this through my own experience, will say you cannot do it,
Yeah.
or you mustn't go to a particular place. Let's mention some places in Central America: El Salvador, Nicaragua, whatever, to name but two, Mexico. But these people
Mhm.
are people who haven't been there themselves. Okay? Possibly because they're too afraid to go. So you've got to find people, without being ridiculously stupid about it, who supports your optimistic view. This is very clear. If you want to talk yourself out of going to a project, going to a place on the planet, you'll find plenty of people in the pub or the cafe who say you shouldn't go because it's not safe. Now, I've traveled for 40 years to 170 countries, and I've never had a single problem ever. And there you go. So that comes from, you know, me.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So once you
There's
sort of,
always there's always gonna be
the point is,
a
Hyman,
common place to go.
get your head together first. Persuade yourself, tell yourself, teach yourself, ex- tell yourself that you can do it, and the world is a lovely place. And the more people go around the world, the more people will come back with a much better view, a much better world view. 95, 99% of people are beautiful and want to help and want to share the experience and want to give you hospitality and want to know about your life as you pass through theirs. And that's a fact. And that's just one point. We can go to
Yeah.
the second point immediately, which is you have to decide whether you're in a relationship. Do you want to move on from that relationship? Really? Is this an opportunity to do that? Really? Or do you want to take that relationship with you? And that's the point. If you really want to motorcycle around the world for, say, 6 months or a year, you have to make that decision. And these aren't easy
Mhm.
to do, you know. You have to do that. So these are the things that stop people from going. Okay?
Yeah.
And work. How afraid are you of losing your position at work? Again, you know, like I said, I mean, if it was easy, we'd all be doing it. The point is, how much are you prepared to give up for how much?
Yeah,
We're back.
I just lost my connection for a bit. Yeah, thank you for your answer. I totally agree with you. I guess I mean, you know what they say: if you don't follow your dreams, no one's gonna follow them for you. You know.
That's it.
So I think that sometimes if you really are thinking about this and you really think you should be doing trips like the ones you do, I think you just should go out and do them. You know, just
Yeah,
take the motorbike and do them. It's better not to overthink about this because you're always gonna find detractors about what you're trying to do.
absolutely.
Cool.
I quite agree.
Cool. Let me see if I have more questions here for you. Yeah, tell us something about your most epic trips.
Well, every single one has a sort of epic quality to it, to be
Hmm.
perfectly honest. For example, I give each of my trips a name. A little bit like the old 70s and 80s rock groups. Yes, and Genesis, Trick of the
Okay, nice.
Journey to the Center of the Earth, Rick Wakeman, all this kind of stuff. So you see, one of my when I went around the world in 19 days, 4 hours, it was Journey Beyond Reason. Okay, when I went the length of the Americas on a super Tenere from Tierra del Fuego to Alaska, and
Uh-huh.
I've done that 8 times.
Yeah,
But
I read that. I read about that. Yeah, it's impressive. I just couldn't go over all the stuff that you did with the motorcycle, and then I just also saw that you also have written some books and also did quite a great stuff too with bicycle. So I was just quite of amazed, you know, with all this journey.
well, the thing is, here's my autobiography. So there we are, as you can see.
Okay, nice.
So that's that. So you'll find that on my website. So thanks ever so much. And I think you
Hmm.
can download and Kindle or whatever. And it's also on Vimeo. But the thing is, the point being is that all these journeys, parallel world, when I went around the world, but as I went around the world, I went to the top and the bottom of each continent as I went around the world. So the longest possible journey in the shortest possible time. So all the journeys I've done have an epic feel to them. Presently, we've just done London, Sydney. Okay. Now we'll wait for the virus situation to calm down and it's safe to
Uh-huh.
continue. Um, and then we'll do part two, Sydney, London. And I suspect we'll start in the autumn when everything's calmed down. And and at the moment
Mm.
we're getting a huge number of views on the project, and I think we're building on that for the next 4 or 5 months. So that will give it an epic feel. If we have a fabulous audience, you see, Hyman, you're only as good as the people who watch you. If that's what we're dealing with, in the social media world, and I'm a storyteller. I love telling stories, and I love the fact that people maybe will benefit from it somehow.
Great. Yeah, definitely. I will be following you for sure. I am quite curious to see one of your journeys. Like, how do you usually like report like during your trips? You just blog or also upload some videos every day or?
Yeah, I'm very much a vlogger in the sense that I need a video to
Mhm.
substantiate. I'm looking at the little things, the petrol head official. They send me lots of little love hearts. This is
Yeah.
lovely. Thank you guys. We love you back. Yeah, I very much think I make a film. I'm the old-fashioned, traditional, old school BBC. I did some work with them many years ago. So if I make a film, it's very finely edited using Final Cut Pro X. Anybody can get it, and I make a very fine edit. And sometimes it's a minute for Instagram. Sometimes it's longer with IGTV. Sometimes, and recently I've gone on the full length movie format of 50 minutes. And like I said, we're up to about 90,000 views in the last 4 weeks on my last film. And I'm presently working on my Paris Dakar film, which I did last August. We're turning it from a series of 2 or 3 minute short films into the full length thing. And what it allows me to do is to add a certain, kind of arty feel. I can stamp my personality and filmic cinematographic character on it. We don't always want to be producing the same old stuff, Hyman. We've got to produce something which is identifiable with you, or in my case, with Nick Sanders.
Uh-huh.
And we're all capable of doing that. But you have to think a little bit laterally, just slightly out of the box to get what you want, which is different.
Amazing, Nick. Yeah, definitely amazing. I really don't know where do you get all the time to be involved in such an enormous group of projects and things. For me, it's quite difficult to be able to get some time to go out riding. So
Well, you're working. You're
yeah,
running a relationship. You're running a job. It's not easy. You mustn't beat yourself up about it. Everybody has the same problem. But I took a different 40 years ago.
yeah, cool. It's good for you. Well, and good for all of us that can follow you during your journey. Great. Okay. Yeah. Last question for you, like from the ones that I have prepared for you, is do you have any special physical or mental preparation before your long trips?
Oh, somebody just said there, did I go to Villa O'Higgins on my latest South African? Yes, I did. So there we
Uh-huh.
are, around the world. Yep. And have you ridden a Royal Enfield? No, the Himalayan. No, but I hear they're very good. And average cost per 1,000 kilometers? I don't know. Maybe $100, something like that. Yeah, we're protective gear and comfort. Protective gear and comfort. Um, I use a Campanero suit, a Touratech suit. It's a bit costly, I suppose, but it works very well. Very protective, clearly. Keeps you dry, keeps you warm, that kind of thing. Yeah. Okay. Right. Mental health and stuff like that. Right. Well, when people come up to Hyman, and say, "God, you're mad," as they do.
Mm-hmm.
You do anything different. Um, Look, a friend of mine, and I'll mention him, he's called Eric Jones, and he lives in Wales, where I live at the moment. And he's 80. He's one of my dear friends, and he's one of the greatest mountain climbers in Britain and in his time in the world. He climbed the north face of the Eiger
Oh,
solo in winter, the first person ever to do it.
amazing.
And yeah, no, it's extraordinary. And Leo Dickinson was in the helicopter filming him as he did it. And I had some business dealings with him a few years ago, but Eric has become a friend. Now, you might say that's kind of a madness, and maybe it is, but it's also a kind of extreme sanity. Because whilst he's up there, and by using him as an analogy, I'm drawing attention to myself too. Because every single decision that you make, be it climbing the north face of the Eiger, or riding around the world doing 1,600 kilometers a day, or just even riding around the world again and again and again and again, every decision you make is not based on madness at all. It's based on absolute sanity. You've rationalized and you've reasoned that decision, and there are many decisions to be made every single day on a daily
Yeah,
basis
I can imagine.
until you are sure it's right. And then you've minimized any potential fateful consequences, and you've minimized the chance of that project failing. It's very easy to come back from a project and say, I failed. I couldn't quite manage it. I'm not allowed to do that. I have to come back and say, we succeeded. We found a way through it. We rationalized it properly. My mental health, if you like, my mental welfare is sufficiently strong to be able to get through the bad days, or the good days, or the bad days when I'm thinking about home, or my children, or my whatever. We all have bad days. We have to get through them. And it's a technique to learn how to do it. Sometimes you have to cleanse your mind, you know, take out the devil within, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak. And, yeah, everybody has ways to do it. And sometimes just a good chat with a friend over a pint of beer in the pub is enough.
Great, amazing, cool. Well, thank you for those tips too. I think I don't have any more questions for you, so we can maybe go over some of the ones that we are getting over here.
Yep.
Let me go over some of them that we have here on the question section. Okay, this one is from Dominica Wright. He's asking, female traveling around the world solo. Is it dangerous?
Well, put it this way, look, it's probably a little bit more dangerous than a man. But at the end of the
Mhm.
day, all do can you protect yourself if you get into a difficult situation? Well, look, as a man, if I get assaulted or attacked by more than one man, two men, for example, I'm in trouble, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah? So there's always that potential for difficulty, whatever sex you are. Having said that, I have never had that problem. And I also know of a few very brave female solo riders who have also never had that problem. Depending
Mhm.
on how you are with people, that will minimize that kind of problem by a massive amount. It's unlikely to happen. You will tend to get a sense of survival, a sense of, I know what's happening. I know I've seen that psychopath, you know? I mean, I could get into trouble. So you avoid it. And that's
Mhm.
it. And if you've avoided it, you're going to be fine. I think the short answer is that there's no reason why a female solo traveler cannot motorcycle around the world. Absolutely not. I think it's a great idea.
Cool. Oh, yeah, thank you for that. Let's see if there's some more.
We've got Baja Explorer saying, I noticed you skip certain countries in the Middle East. Is
Mhm.
that? Yes, it's not political at all. I really just, it's not always easy to go through places like Saudi Arabia or obviously Yemen. I have cycled and motorbiked through Syria 5 times. I've been through Jordan, obviously the Sinai Desert. Some of these countries you just simply can't go through. Syria is an obvious one. So that's it. That's the only reason.
Mhm. Great. There is one more here that says from Robin Lee Vonin. How many countries have you toured by bike?
By my bike and bicycle, I'm not sure, Robin. I say about 170. But let's turn it around. I've been to every country you can think of, apart from China, the Congo, Democratic Republic of whatever, DMR, Angola, and Botswana. So that's 4 or 5 countries. I've been all over South America, Venezuela. So I've been all over South America, all over Central America, North America, all over Africa, apart from 5 countries, all over Southeast Asia. I mean, not just once. I've been to India 20 times. Not as a holiday tourist, as a traveller,
Mhm.
cycling it, motorbiking it. Yeah.
Nice, impressive again. Yeah, most people wouldn't even go to. I mean, over 100 countries, not even flying or driving.
Yeah.
Let's see if there is some more. Which is your favorite place from Konslans? Which is your favorite place you have ever been to?
Well, again, we had a sort of conversation about this. Your favourite places where you felt most, you've been most welcomed. It, you know,
Mhm.
it could be a backstreet hotel. It could be um, a country you wouldn't normally expect to associate with, you know, your favourite place. Um, really hard. I mean, there's a country I really want to go to, which I haven't been to, for example, would be Botswana. And I have a feeling that would be a favorite place. Um, I've, the favorite place that I love is my home country of Wales, for different reasons. I love the Sudan. Crossing the Nubian desert was a wonderful experience. And I read about the Nubia and the Dinka tribes people when I was a youth, 30, 40 years, 50 years ago. And I always wanted to see these people in their own location. And Sudan was absolutely exceptional as a wonderful place to go to. Yeah,
Okay, so you would say Sudan is like the
yeah, yeah, it's very great.
cool, great, cool. Let's see some more over here from Ertas Onur One. What's that? What's that one gear accessory you always take with you during your trip?
Right, good question. Well, obviously I need a camera, and the camera I use is this one here, which is the Fuji X-T3, which is not big, but it allows you to take stills and be a videographer as well. The tripod, which I always absolutely need, is from it's a company called the three-legged thing, and I really need one of those, absolutely. You clearly need the phone. You need little things like this, you see, guys. Look, you need hard drives, okay? Simple.
Yeah.
You need a small computer. If you're thinking of making a living from it, or thinking of trying to make it pay, or being a vlogger, there's plenty of room for expansion of what I've already done. The world has been around for 1 billion years, and it will continue to be so. And once I've finished my exploration, I'm sure other people will do it in different ways. But I'm going to get I like Apple Mac. I quite like the concept. I've got a 15-inch Apple Mac Pro, but I'm going to reduce it down to a 13-inch, and I think that's better than an Air. It's smaller. It's still got the computer capability. You've got fast hard drives. You've got fast, RAM and all that. It works, and you can deal in 4K. You have to slightly future-proof, your filmography. So yeah, good computer, good camera, tripod, hard drives, phone, TomTom.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, it's enough.
Great, cool. Yeah, I think we are running a little bit out of time from the session. I just wanted to ask you one last question. What would you say to all those riders that cannot go outside right now with their motorbikes because of the lockdown for this virus? What is your message for them?
Well, the thing is, I think they should start getting fit. Use the opportunity which they have never had in their lives. This is new to all of us. You can either kind of waste it and, well, not waste it, but sit in front of your television and watch Netflix and get, and enjoy that, I guess. Or you can go out for a walk and get fit and lose some weight and start to feel, give yourself a goal. This is going to end. There will be a new normal, but this will end, and we will continue to journey in some ways, maybe slightly differently, but we will continue to journey. And if you want to ride your motorbike, remember, you don't have to go around the world. You've only got to go round the corner. You don't have to go far. Keep it simple. Go for a ride. Feel great. Come and see me in Wales. Whatever. But yes, it is. There is a future.
Great. Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, it will. We will reach that point anytime soon.
Absolutely.
Okay, man. Thank you very much, Nick, for being here today with us. Super happy that we had this chat about motorcycling around the world and going all over your journeys. We hope to see you and all the followers, both from TomTom Driver's account and your account, back in the road anytime soon. And in the meantime, just a message for everyone: just stay safe and take care of your family. Don't forget to follow this great man, Nick Sanders. He's amazing. All his journey is super inspiring, as you have seen during this live session. And of course, follow us because we will be screening some more interesting content around these topics soon. So yeah, I think that's it. This came to an end.
And just finally, if I may say, thank you everybody for following me. There's lots of lovely questions we can't actually answer now, but I can answer them. If you go onto my website, onto nicksanders.com, okay? Go to nicksanders.com. You'll see on the homepage, click on it and go and watch my London-Sydney film, okay? It's 38 minutes. You'll see the whole journey from London to Sydney. And then once you've gone on the YouTube film and so forth, you can continue asking me questions there. And I will answer every single one, okay? Go to my website, watch the film. See you later.
Awesome. Thank you, Nick.
It's a pleasure.
Enjoy your evening. Yeah, you too. Stay safe. It was really good to meet you today. And yeah, hope to see you back in the road anytime soon.
I look forward to it. Thank you very much, Hyman. Thank you, everybody.
Bye bye, Nick. Bye,
Bye bye.
everybody.